Welcome to WrestleMania! What's up guys, WSC Stage Creator back again with another video, and today I'll be giving you my review of WrestleMania 37 Night 1. The hype was real going into this show, into this WrestleMania. We were all so hyped. The fans were going to be in attendance. They were going to make some noise. We're going to have the big stage in the stadium. Everything was going to be how we wanted for WrestleMania for over a year. We didn't get it last year. This year, we are going to get it, and in 2 nights, this being the first night of WrestleMania. And let's talk about the production first, because this show was almost ruined. It was almost a disaster because they had really bad weather. There was a rainstorm going on at Raymond James Stadium in Florida where they were, and things were not looking good. Going into the show a couple hours before, it was raining and there were warnings of severe weather, and they were telling all the fans that were there to go indoors and not go to the seats to stay protected from the weather. It was raining on the stage. The sails of the pirate ship on the stage were flying off and ripping off the stage. The seats were flying everywhere. The LED on the stage stopped working and they had to replace it and all that. So it was almost a disaster, and we thought right before the show that everything had cleared up, but right when we get into the show, everything goes bad and they have to delay the show for a while. We couldn't get into the first match. Now, starting off the show, we got a really special moment, a really emotional, really special, happy moment for all us WWE fans when Vince McMahon came out with all the roster on the stage and said thank you to the fans. And it was just such a special moment, seeing all those wrestlers, getting to see the fans for the first time in ages. It was really awesome. That was a great way to start the show. Then we had BB Rexha do the national anthem, which was really cool. Also, one of the better performances for the national anthem. Then the hype was real. We were all so excited, at least I was. And then we get into the show thinking we're gonna get Drew versus Lashley. Then the energy just gets sucked out of us because we have to wait. There was a big delay. Everybody had to go out of their seats and get indoors because of the severe weather, and rain was pouring down into the ringside area. Byron Saxton's mic cut out, and man, things were not looking good. We had to waste time with a bunch of promos. The wrestlers did really good on the fly with the promos, and they handled it as best as they could, but yeah, it was almost a disaster. Luckily, that was the only time they had to stop the show right at the start. Imagine during a match something happened with the weather and they had to stop the show and they had to stop the match. That would have been terrible, and hopefully that doesn't happen tomorrow. But yeah, the production almost got ruined. It was almost a disaster at WrestleMania, and I'm surprised that this was the first time that something like this ever happened, because they've done so many outdoor stadium shows. Like, something like this was bound to happen, and I really hope tomorrow isn't ruined also. But yeah, the stage was almost ruined. There was a big delay at the start. It almost ruined the show. It was almost a disaster, but luckily we got things on the road and it was really good. And the stage was amazing. Big pirate ship on the stage. Graphics looked awesome. I think that was a really cool stage. One of the better ones. It was ruined by the rain a little bit, but maybe they'll fix it tomorrow. One last thing about the production of the show, then we'll get into the matches. They did some cool stuff with the production. You know, the augmented reality stuff that they've been doing looks really cool. They used these really cool drone lights that like made logos in the air, which looked really cool, and we're gonna see more of that tomorrow. And another thing, I think they were using Thunderdome crowd noise for the show here, because in the later matches, I guess, because, you know, the fans aren't going to be super loud all night long, and fans are used to the Thunderdome crowd noise, and they make that thing pretty loud. And I've just noticed throughout the show that it sounded like they were piping in crowd noise, especially in the main event. You could hear it too, so I don't blame them for doing that, you know, because it's a stadium with only 20,000 people. There are usually more at WrestleMania, so it might not be as loud as normal. Don't get me wrong, the crowd pops were great at the start, but definitely at the end, it seemed like they were using Thunderdome crowd noise, which I guess is totally fine, but I just wanted to point that out. But now, getting into the show, we finally started things off with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. I wanted this thing to main event the show, but seeing as the result of the match, I totally understand why it didn't main event the show. They're kind of pushing the narrative that Drew wanted the first match out so he could like get a reward for not having the fans at WrestleMania last year. He wanted the main event. Let's not get it twisted. He wanted the main event, but the women got the main event because, you know, the babyface goes over and whatnot. I felt like this match was going to be a great match, but they kind of didn't go all out here, and I expect them to have more matches, so I understand why they weren't the main event, so they didn't seem to go all out here. It was a good match, and Drew McIntyre actually wasn't the first one out. It was actually Titus O'Neil who got the first pop from the fans. He got the first entrance, which is kind of funny, and yeah, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan were the hosts doing their usual stuff, but getting into the match here, despite the weather, they had pyro, which was really, really nice, and in the end, Drew McIntyre loses to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley wins with the Hurt Lock. He made him pass out to the Hurt Lock. That completely shocked me. You know, I thought, you know, Bobby Lashley retaining would be cool, but, you know, he uses the spear. Are they really going to have Lashley use the spear to win and then have someone else use the spear tomorrow and win the triple threat? Are they going to have Lashley really make Drew McIntyre lose to the Hurt Lock? And they actually did. They went for it, and Bobby Lashley retains the title, which is really cool because Lashley, I thought going into it, was going to be a transitional WrestleMania season champion, you know, like Bray Wyatt, like Goldberg in years previous, but luckily he wasn't, and that is really cool because Drew McIntyre, he's done everything there is to do with the championship. I don't see what else he can do, who he can feud with, so I think he needs a break from the championship to see what he's really made of. Is the championship making him, or is he making the championship? See what he's really made of, see how good he really is when he doesn't have the championship backing him up. And Bobby Lashley is a beast. I love Bobby Lashley. Don't understand why they broke up the Hurt Business. Like, maybe they're going to feud with him for the title. Lashley stays strong here. He actually makes Drew pass out to the Hurt Lock. That is really cool, and I think they'll probably do Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley next. I think that'll be awesome. They could have some great matches. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Bobby Lashley does with the championship. I've always been a big fan of Bobby Lashley. Years previous, I expected him to verse Brock Lesnar after WrestleMania 34. Didn't happen, but now it's Bobby Lashley's time. It's the almighty era, and I'm here for it. Then we had the match that I was least looking forward to on the whole of WrestleMania, and that was the women's tag team turmoil match to determine the #1 contenders for the women's tag titles on the next night. And in my opinion, I don't think the women's tag titles should even be a thing. I mean, there's really no tag teams, and man, I can't really get into women's tag team wrestling. I'm not that keen on it, but this women's tag match, it was decent, it was alright. Nothing too special here. What happened was Billie Kay and Carmella, a really thrown together team, but I think they could be a very entertaining team. They actually beat Naomi and Lana, who were actually pretty over with the fans in the arena. They beat them using like cheating tactics. Then Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott came out, the Riott Squad, rocking some awesome attire, like some Harley Quinn type attire. Looked really awesome, and they beat them with a pretty cool tag team finisher. Then Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke came out, and they were looking great in their pink attire. Looked really, really good, and Mandy Rose slipped down the ramp all wet because of the rain. She slipped down the ramp, which was pretty funny. Liv and Ruby beat them. The announcer botched it and said the wrong people won. He quickly corrected himself. Then Natalya and Tamina came out, who have been booked pretty strong these past few weeks. I didn't really expect them to win, but in the end they did. And Tamina got the pin. She hit the Superfly Splash, and she won the match. And yeah, I'm just not big on Natalya or Tamina. I respect them both, but I just don't find them that entertaining, and it's kind of weird. Heel team versus heel team tomorrow. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Tamina and Natalya. I don't know what's going to happen there. They've booked them strong, but I just don't really care for them as a team, or the women's tag titles for that matter. But next match we got was Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, and this was one of the best matches of the night. So Seth Rollins had a special entrance. He came out with some like fire sticks on the ramps, which didn't fully work. Not all of them lit up. Seth Rollins had some new theme music, which is interesting. Kept the Burn It Down, but was a new theme that kind of fits the heel character a bit more. he keeps changing his theme. He had the Messiah theme, I guess didn't really work for him. Then he changed it back to the normal theme. Then he's got the new theme. New theme's cool, but nothing's gonna beat the classic Seth Rollins theme, which I'm sure he'll probably go back to when he becomes a babyface again. But yeah, these guys had a really cool match. Cesaro got a big pop from the crowd too, which was nice. They had a good match. Seth Rollins used the buckle bomb on Cesaro in the match, which I thought was a banned move, but apparently not. He used it on Cesaro. Seth also used a really cool move. He did a corkscrew splash off the top rope, turning 360 degrees. Really cool move there. Cesaro in this match kicked out of a pedigree, which is really cool. I don't know how Triple H approved that, but he kicked out of a pedigree. Seth was saying to him, "I kicked out of all your moves. What do you got for me?" And as soon as he said that, I was like, Cesaro's gonna pull out the UFO. This move, UFO, was a move he was using in the Indies, and basically he did exactly that. He did the UFO, he got him on his shoulders, and he spins around, basically a reverse airplane spin, and he uses no hands to do it. It was really cool. Cesaro is super talented. He did the UFO for the first time, I believe, in WWE. Maybe he did it years ago, but it's one of the first times in recent memory that he's done it. Then he did the swing for, I believe, a record amount of times, like 23 swings. Then he hit the neutralizer for the win. Great win for Cesaro here. Biggest win of his career. This was really, really nice. I wonder if they're really going to capitalize on this win with Cesaro and do something with him, or is he just going to get lost in the shuffle again? We'll have to wait and see on that. The Money in the Bank is coming up. Maybe Cesaro could win that. I just don't know if they're willing to go all the way with him, but he is a great talent in the ring. He just needs to show a bit more character and personality. And, you know, if you're going to make someone a world champion, they need to be able to tell stories and do feuds and whatnot. You know, they need to be able to be characters. You know, someone like Shinsuke Nakamura years ago didn't win the championship because you can't do feuds with him because, you know, what's he going to do in a feud? He can't talk, he can't like do stuff like that. So you need a versatile character, you need someone with charisma, and I hope to see that from Cesaro, and that'll take him to the next level. But then we move from that to the Raw Tag Team Championships, and we got the New Day defending the titles against AJ Styles and the in-ring debut of Omos. Big E came out and did the intro and reunited with the New Day, which was cool. AJ Styles almost slipped on the ramp as well. I guess the ramp is super slippery, and yeah, hopefully nobody falls off the damn ramp tomorrow. That would be absolutely devastating if someone comes out running out to the ring and they slide and fall off the ramp. That'd be crazy. I hope that doesn't happen. But Omos wasn't wearing traditional ring gear. He was kind of wearing street gear, like a tight vest shirt. And basically, they were just working on AJ Styles the whole match and building the suspense for when Omos would come in and destroy everybody. And he did just that. He destroyed him. AJ Styles jumped off his shoulders, hit a phenomenal forearm. Omos hit basically the Punjabi plunge on Kofi Kingston, pinned him with 1 foot on him, and new tag team champions AJ Styles and Omos are the new tag team champions. AJ Styles, I believe, is now a Grand Slam champion, which is really cool for AJ Styles. Accomplished everything in WWE. Hasn't won a Universal Championship, but you don't need the Universal Championship. You just need a World Championship to become a Grand Slam champion. So that's really cool. I think they should do a finisher where Omos has someone on his shoulders and AJ Styles springboards off the ropes and hits a phenomenal forearm onto the guy and flips him over. I think that'd be a really cool finisher if they were to do that. I think that'd be really, really cool, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with these guys, and it'd be nice to see what Omos can do in the ring besides just destroying people, see if he can take bumps, do some cool moves. We'll have to wait and see what we can get out of Omos in the future, but that was a cool moment. Now moving on to the steel cage match. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Now, to be honest, I would have rather this be a street fight. You know, Shane McMahon is really good in street fights and does some crazy stuff. Would have liked the trash can spot, the announcer's table spot would have been nice. But, you know, steel cage match, it was pretty decent. It was a pretty good match. The feud going in was a little weird. The video package did not do the storyline justice. They just made it about, oh, you're stupid, you're stupid. You know, it's a lot more than that. It was more about Shane McMahon being the, you know, rich, successful guy bullying, you know, the country boy who was like bullied when he was younger. They should have told that story a bit better. You know, they would just kept hammering home the you're stupid, but there was a lot more to the story that they could have told, but they really didn't. And that was kind of a missed opportunity. But I thought going into the match, they were going to have Shane McMahon win and outsmart Braun Strowman. Like Strowman was going to throw Shane McMahon through the cage and Shane wins. And basically he's like, oh, I outsmarted you. And then Braun chases Shane up the stage and then throws him off the pirate ship, or Shane jumps off the pirate ship. I would have done something like that. That would have been really cool. But what we got was pretty good too. You know, Elias attacked Braun Strowman with a chair before him, and Jackson Riker attacked him before he got in the ring. Then Shane McMahon worked over him, attacking the leg of Braun Strowman, which Elias hit with the chair. Then it looked like Shane McMahon was gonna win. He was almost out of the cage, but Braun Strowman grabbed his arm through the cage, and then Braun ripped the cage open, brought Shane McMahon back in, dragged him up to the top of the cage, and threw him off. Nasty bump. He like literally just got thrown off the top of the cage into the ring. The ring is not soft. It's not some trampoline. It is hard. It's like metal beams and wood and just like a thin layer of foam. That is a nasty bump to take, thrown all the way off the top of the cage to the floor on the ring, and then Braun Strowman hits the running power slam. 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman wins. You know, Braun Strowman was once great. Now I think they really need to build him up again. They really killed him when Brock Lesnar beat him so many times for the Universal Championship. They should have gone with him back then, but now hopefully they can rebuild him and hopefully he can do some big things soon. Then we got to the big celebrity match. We had Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. I did not know who Bad Bunny was before Royal Rumble. Now I think he's really cool. You know, I don't listen to like Latin music or whatever he does, but you know, his entrance was really cool. His in-ring work was really cool. And one thing, Miz and Morrison's entrance was trash. That bunnies in the ring and then their bad lip syncing of their song, that was pretty trash. But Bad Bunny had a really cool entrance, came out on the top of a truck. That was a really cool entrance, really cool ring gear. I'm sure if we got a Gronk figure, we're gonna get a Bad Bunny figure. That is really cool. And this match was really good. The fans seemed to be really into this match, really into Bad Bunny. I'm really glad that they received him well, because usually fans would like boo someone like that, but really happy they received him well. Did really good. The man did a Canadian Destroyer on the outside, on the floor. That is insane. Bad Bunny, mad props to you. Great performance. And who knows, maybe we'll see him again, but I think this is a great WrestleMania moment for him. He was actually a really big WWE fan. He's not just some random celebrity. He's really into this. He trained really hard for this. So props to him. Good match, good spotlight for Damian Priest. Also expect big things for him in the future. Then we got to our main event of night one. It was the SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, two of my favorites. Going into this show, I didn't think they should main event. I thought these guys should have main event. I just was more interested in their match. I thought their match would be better. They didn't go all out on this night. These women did really good, and considering the finish of both matches, I think this was perfect to main event the show. And can we just appreciate Sasha Banks' look with the neon green in the hair and the attire? Looks so good. Really awesome gear. Definitely need that in figure form. She looked absolutely fantastic. Both of them before the match were on the verge of tears, very emotional that they got this moment. Two black women for the first time in the main event of WrestleMania. Really cool there. And this match was a good match. They did really good. Probably the best match on the show in my opinion. They did really good in this match. You could definitely tell there was piped in crowd in this match. This was the match I really noticed it. But the end of the match came when Bianca hit the hair whip on Sasha Banks on her stomach. Absolutely nasty. You could hear the noise. It was crazy. I'm surprised she doesn't do that more often. I guess they want to keep it special for big moments only, and it was definitely the right time for that. That was really cool. Then she hit the kiss of death, the KOD, wins the match, and Michael Cole absolutely botches it, and he's like, oh, Sasha kicked out, Sasha kicked out. Oh man, you absolutely ruined the moment, Michael Cole. I mean, everyone makes mistakes and whatever, and I bet Vince McMahon was furious at that, but it really ruined the moment. But, you know, people make mistakes, whatever. Still a great moment. Bianca Belair wins the SmackDown Women's Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. Her winning the Rumble was so great, so special, and now she is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and that is awesome. And Sasha Banks continues to lose at WrestleMania. I don't believe she's won at WrestleMania whatsoever, and that's unfortunate, but it was the right move here. Bianca Belair wins the SmackDown Women's Championship, send the fans home happy, and we're gearing up for night 2, which is more of a stacked card in my opinion. I'm more excited for night 2, and that is going to be really cool, so stay tuned for the review of that tomorrow. But basically, this show was an enjoyable show, nothing too special, like had a couple good moments and whatever, but it was just the spectacle of it all, having the fans back, having it in Raymond James Stadium in the arena, that just made it feel like WrestleMania, and just that was what we came to see. The hype, the spectacle of it all, that was what we came to see, and tomorrow I think it will be way better of a show too. But good start to WrestleMania, and I'm super hyped for what's gonna come next. But thank you guys for watching this video. Please smash the like button if you like this review. Comment down below what you thought of WrestleMania Night 1. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. Let's pray that there's no rain tomorrow. Please, God. Please. It's WrestleMania, baby.